You're in a group chat, and someone posts a photo from an event you weren't invited to. You didn't even want to go. You had zero interest in that particular gathering, but your thumb is already typing before your brain catches up. Sorry, I've just been so busy lately. I should have reached out more. Nobody asked you to explain yourself. Nobody accused you of anything. You just apologize for existing outside of someone else's plans. Or maybe it's smaller than that. You bump into a chair. You say sorry to the chair. A coworker walks too fast and nearly collides with you in the hallway. And even though they weren't looking where they were going, the word is out of your mouth before you can stop it. Sorry. You ask the question in a meeting and preface it with sorry, quick question. You send a text, and it starts with sorry to bother you. You take up a parking spot, and you find yourself apologizing to the car that pulls in 2 minutes after you. If any of that landed a little too close, stay with me, because what I'm about to describe isn't a personality flaw. It's not you being too nice or too sensitive. It's a pattern with a real psychological shape to it. And once you see the shape, you can't unsee it. This is the psychology of people who apologize for everything. And I want to start by naming exactly what it is, because most people who do this have never actually looked at it directly. They just live inside it. Chronic apologizing isn't really about manners. Polite people say sorry when they've caused harm, mean it, and move on. That's healthy. What we're talking about here is different. It's reflexive. It happens before you've even assessed whether you did anything wrong. It's not a response to a mistake. It's a response to the mere possibility that someone might be even slightly inconvenienced, annoyed, or displeased by your presence. The apology isn't communication. It's a preemptive strike against conflict that hasn't even happened yet. And here's the first thing I want you to hear clearly. This makes complete sense. Not because it's a good strategy, but because somewhere along the way it worked. Your brain didn't invent this out of nowhere. It built this because at some point, in some environment, this was the safest way to move through the world. We're going to get into exactly how that happens, but I want to plant that idea early because so many people carry shame about being an over-apologizer, and shame is the wrong lens. This isn't a character defect. It's an adaptation. It's a strategy your nervous system learned because it needed one. So let's talk about where it actually comes from. Most chronic apologizers didn't learn this behavior as adults. It was built early, usually in childhood, usually in an environment where emotional safety was unpredictable. Maybe there was a parent with a temper that could flip without much warning. Maybe there was a household where tension in the air meant something bad was coming, and you got very, very good at reading that tension before it became a full storm. Kids in these environments develop something psychologists sometimes call hypervigilance. A heightened sensitivity to other people's moods, facial expressions, tone of voice, even the pace of someone's footsteps. Your nervous system learns to scan constantly for danger signals, and apologizing becomes one of the fastest tools available to defuse a threat before it grows. Think about it from a child's perspective. If saying, "I'm sorry," quickly and sincerely enough could sometimes shorten a scolding, calm an angry adult, or restore peace in the house, the behavior gets reinforced. Not because the child did something wrong every time, but because the apology worked as a de-escalation tool. Psychologists call this a survival adaptation, a behavior that isn't really about guilt, it's about safety. The nervous system isn't asking, "Did I make a mistake?" It's asking, "How do I make this person calm down as fast as possible?" This doesn't only come from harsh households, either. Sometimes it comes from the opposite, a home that looked calm on the surface, but where a child was taught, directly or indirectly, that their needs were an imposition. Maybe a parent was overwhelmed, exhausted, dealing with their own stress, and every time the child needed something, there was a sigh, a slightly clipped tone, a look that said, "Not now." A child doesn't process that as "my parent is tired." A child processes that as "my needs are a burden." And a child who believes their needs are burdensome grows into an adult who apologizes for having needs at all. There's also a subtler version of this that shows up in people who are praised heavily for being easy, low maintenance, no trouble at all. That sounds like a compliment, but it quietly teaches a child that their value is tied to how little space they take up. If being easy is what earns you love and approval, then anything that might make you seem difficult, expressing a preference, disagreeing, having a bad day, starts to feel dangerous.